News from Unique Views.
The community comes together on November 18th to honor and recognize some very special people who go out of their way to make a difference in others' lives. The evening is called the Dinner of Champions, and all of the proceeds go to benefit the Bethlehem Center to continue the work they've been doing with their youth and family development programs for more than 100 years. Reggie Smith is the center's executive director, and he proudly joins us this morning. So happy centennial.
Thank you. Well, actually, it's 103 years.
Wow.
But yeah, but
who's counting?
Thank you. Right, who's counting? We just continue to do the work.
So this is something that y'all been doing for a while, right? The Dinner of Champions. It must be difficult for you to narrow it down to just 3 people.
And that's why we do 3 now. And so historically, we had a breakfast of champions type of event before the pandemic. Coming out of the pandemic, we kind of revamped it a little bit. We still have our breakfast with the Beth, and we now do a Dinner of Champions where we honor more people, because there's a lot of people that are doing great work in the city, a lot of people that support us.
Well, there are a lot of people who do great work, and Chattanooga continues to be one of those towns where you kind of know everybody after a while. Somehow you cross paths. So when I saw who you were honoring, I just kind of did a let out of because one of them is Alan Green.
Yes.
All you have to do is meet Alan Green. I know Herman Prader is going to be great too. We'll talk about him, but since I'm mentioning Alan, there he is. You meet him once and you're hooked.
Very much so. And I've had the privilege of knowing him for a very, I guess, pretty long time. We were both freshmen at UTC together in 2004. I became a member of my fraternity in 2005. He became one in 2007. So we've known each other for a very long time. He has a wonderful heart, and he's doing some phenomenal work in the community.
Brag about the other 2. Let's talk about Herman Prader, since we saw his picture first.
Most definitely. So Herman Prader, I always like to say, when I first became executive director of the Beth about 8 years ago now, he was one of the first people I met, and he came in my office with all of these photos from the 60s and 70s. And he was telling me about all the history of the Bethlehem Center. And I really got a really good wealth of education from him about the work that I was engaging in. And, you know, by far, all of the champions that we're honoring, what we're doing is kind of creating different categories of honorees. And Herman Prader is our living legacy honoree.
Okay. And then Gus Hernandez.
Yeah, Pastor Gus. Well, what can I say about Pastor Gus? I met him before the pandemic, and he's one of those people who, number one, he was an encouragement to me all throughout the pandemic, but he's just one of those people who's always in the trenches, always helping everybody. And it doesn't matter what part of Chattanooga you're in, you know who Gus Hernandez is, you know about his work with Silverdale Baptist Church, and he's always there to try to help people. And so we definitely want to honor him as well.
Well, so is the Beth, as you call it. Y'all are there to help people
Very
for
much so.
103 years. So I mentioned that the monies raised from this event go back to the youth and family or youth development programs. What do those look like exactly? Are you going into the schools, or are the kids coming to you?
So we have a host of a lot of different programs, but specifically for this particular event, it is for our Read to Lead After School Academy. So historically, people know us for what we do with children, you know, kindergarten through 8th grade, immediately after school. And we do have some daytime programming. We do have programming now working with adults. We have resource access programming that is centered around case management for adults. But specifically, this is our 21st Century Child Learning Center that is state recognized, and we have all these different, state level licensures now, but it's solely to support the after school programming for young people in our area.
So is that at the Beth Center itself?
Yes.
So the kids are brought to you after school?
Every day after school.
Every day after
Yes, ma'am.
school. So do you have staff that sustains that, Reggie,
Yes.
or are you looking for volunteers to help tutor?
So we have a staff to sustain that, and we definitely like volunteers. Now, we're blessed right now to be in a period of time where we're actually partnering with the United Way, and they provide an additional level of academic support. But for years, we've kind of worked with this model of working with young people who are in college, who, coming out of the pandemic, graduated from college and stuck with us. And we have a host of people who are actually master's degree social workers who serve in an educational capacity as we do more work around social emotional learning. So yes, we have a staff, and we definitely love volunteers. I like to say we operate off the PBS model, viewers like you.
Yeah.
So come on in, and definitely we love more volunteers.
So we want them coming to that Dinner of Champions.
Very much so.
It's when again? November when?
It's November 18th.
Okay.
And it will be downtown at the Chattanooga Marriott. And doors open at 6:30 p.m. We're going to have like a cocktail hour type of deal. It's going to be a really good night of fun, some wonderful food, and opportunity to meet some really nice people.
So it is, and I don't mean this as anything other than, but this is exclusively a dinner and a recognition night. It's not an auction to go along with it or anything like that.
There is no auction to go along with it. It is a fundraiser. We definitely want to raise funds, but the bulk of the actual event in and of itself is to honor the individual honorees. And there will be an opportunity to support the Bethlehem Center. There's going to be some wonderful videos for people to be able to see the work that we're doing, as well as to be able to showcase who the individuals are we're honoring. We had some really nice videos produced about them.
You know, I meet a lot of people. I'm fairly certain, though, that I have my story straight on you. If I'm wrong, just forgive me and you can tell me the right story. But am I right that your dad was a part of the Bethlehem Center at one time?
No. And so people always say that because my name is Reggie. So I'm Reginald Floyd Smith II, and people always think of Reggie White, who graduated from Howard, played football. But no, I'm originally from Memphis. Okay. And so, but I've been here now in Chattanooga for almost 20 years.
I knew you had been here for a while, and when the camera goes off and I don't stumble over my own 2 feet in front of everybody, I know there's something I'm remembering about you that's connected somehow with your dad.
Yeah, but my dad is originally by trade, he's a financial advisor, but he started a nonprofit organization, and I guess that's kind of
maybe that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, of saying, well, you know what, I want to go into this whole idea of human service.
That it's in your blood.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going to circle back to you then, is the fulfillment that you get out of your job.
Yeah. I remember we had that conversation. Yeah. So you're
on point. You know I'm not crazy. Yeah. But you do. You find that fulfillment in your work.
I really do. It's one of those things to where I go to work every day looking at how can I help people. And so operating in the capacity that I'm in right now, serving in this Christian ministry is really fulfilling.
Well,
very much so.
I led you there because authenticity shows.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that people they can't all be you. They have their own calling in life. But to know that when you come for this fundraiser, it's helping for something that is not only very specific, but very proven and tested.
Oh, yes,
means a lot. So that's why I was leading you down that stumbling path.
Well, thank you. No, you did a good job. You
right.
got me there.
Thank you very much. So here's how you can get your ticket to the event. Go to thebeth.org. That's just cool to say anyway. Yeah. November 18th at the Marriott downtown. A wonderful evening to recognize some marvelous people who do these works every day quietly, not for their recognition. And I guess that's the definition of a life successful.
I can agree with that. Thank you.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. The big beefy boy